All right, so we are at the next video in the Classy Approach series. I just had it up. I think I'm at game 3 or 4. It's been a minute since I recorded this, but I am going to get back into this and try to get this series done. I think we're going to try to record one video a week now, at least, now that I have someone editing videos for me. So let's go ahead and we can get started. We do have a volunteer. We're not sure exactly what the level is, but we're gonna go ahead and play, and just to apply the Classy Approach basics again. And yeah, let's go ahead and have it. Let's resume this game.
Game resumed.
And we're just gonna play the Classy Approach basics. So starting out, we're gonna do open corners. I'm gonna do cross. I don't know if I've talked about this yet, but I like going across from my opponent at the lower levels. Just because if I play right here and my opponent plays the cross and then I play over here, we have no combination. And not having a combination is just a little more tricky. It's not bad by any means. It's just maybe more fighty. And I want something simple. So I'm going to go star point just so I can be flexible. So whenever I'm going to cross my opponent, I do like the star points. Okay. And so I can do 3-4 point or 4-4 point. If you're wanting to learn, a good rule that I had for myself for a good while was if I was learning 3-4 and 4-4, then I would just do the opposite of what my opponent does. So for example, if they had a 3-4, then I would go 4-4. And if they had two 4-4s, then I would go 3-4 with the next move. Just that way I could get experience with both. And that's fine. So since he has a 3-4, I'm just gonna do 4-4. No big deal. No big deal. Okay, so that's the open corners. So next up will be the open sides. Let's just see what he does. Okay, so he goes on the right side. So distance-wise, it's the top, left, and bottom. I think I'm gonna go bottom or left, because on the top there's a third line and a fourth line, but on the left it's fourth line and fourth line, and bottom is fourth line and fourth line. So third line is kind of a little bit more settled than two fourth lines. There is some exceptions with the Shamari, but we're not going to worry about that right now. So I'm just going to go fourth line and fourth line. So one of these two. So I can either play right here to do a double extension, but I think I'm just going to approach. I think that's simple and normal. Just approach. Simple. One space away on the third line, because I don't have support on both sides. Okay, and now I need my base, so I'm just going to jump back. One stone jumps over two, and get some space. Get some space. One can jump over two, and you can still connect pretty easily. I'm just going to get some space. All right, so he approached me. I'm going to do my same move. I'm going to go low. I could go high here because I do have support on both sides. Yeah, let's just go high, because we've talked about the low one already, but we haven't talked about the high one. But I think low might be slightly better here, but let's just go high. It doesn't really matter, right? Go high. I have support on both sides. Why not? All right. So that's pretty much all the open sides. So now I would consider us in middle game, because every single side has some stones on it. So what are our middle game principles? Largest framework, right? So I think black's is the bigger one. So what I can do is draw that line right there. That line right there, and then my line's like right here. So it looks like we both have a position. I think a good thing to do would be just build my line and reduce his. So 1 point jumps would be common, so like here or maybe here. But this 1 point jump is actually a touch, and I don't like touching unless I have to. So what about a capping move? So one space above his stone. Check my connection is also good, because this is a dog's face. And dog's face has good connections. We can talk about that later. But all seems pretty good. I'm going to just push his line down and build mine bigger. And I think that's a good way to play position versus position. Kind of equal in that sense. But there's many ways we could tackle this. We can reduce his, we can just build ours, we can do what I'm doing now. We can even start doing some in-game stuff, since the board's so small. Many answers. Okay, so let's just keep doing that. Push his line and build mine. Just keep pushing, watching connections. He's actually playing quite well. He has a lot of stuff here. Okay, so I'm just gonna keep doing the same thing. Push his line, and build mine. Mine is definitely bigger than his, so I could just straight up just keep building mine like here if I wanted to be safe, which safety might be good here. But if I keep pushing him, and making my bigger, it is a little bit more forcing, so it can be more powerful. But if you notice, a 1 point jump versus a Knight's Move, Knight's Move is a little bit more dangerous. So it depends on my like comfortability and confidence with my reading. So I'll just go simple. Simple's fine. We can just go simple. Okay, so mine is bigger. So when yours is bigger, what you should expect actually is some sort of invasion at some point. So we'll hopefully get to talk about that maybe. All right, so black is pushing my line down. I do want to consider the block. So the first thing I can do is just straight up block, but this is a touching move. Touching moves are a little bit difficult to read. So the first thing we have to consider is the Hanes, right? So I touch, black plays, I cut. I have 1/2 liberties. Black has 1/2 liberties. Okay. Atari, Nobi. 1 2 3. 1 2 1 2. Push, block. That's in Atari now, so he has to connect. Do I see any problems? 1 2 to 1 2. I turn and it's a ladder and I'm good. Okay. Let's check it for anything else. Ane, Atari. Is there any other option for black? Touch. What if he Hane's this side? Hane, Atari. He connects. Inobi. Seems fine. But we have to see if our opponent can counter anything. And this is where it gets tricky, right? So what if I block and he Hanes and I block? And then he Ataris and gives it up. I take. He connects. He breaks in. Oh. But if you can read it, there's a response. If he Hanes in, just Nobi. And that'd be fine. But maybe you don't like this. Maybe it's like, oh, too much reading. Reading is scary. Reading's bad. Okay? There's other moves we can consider. Like, oh, this touching is just too difficult to read. Okay? What about not touching? So if we just play a cap, that's an elephant side. You can just walk in. But what if we play a diagonal? And then he pushes, and then I Hane. So we back off one, and all of a sudden we have more liberties. So diagonal is much easier, but also works. And I'm going to speed it up a little bit because I am in overtime. Okay, and now I can just block like this. And now there's not a lot of Hane shenanigans that I can't read. Now it's a lot simpler to read because I have an extra stone. I back off one more line and it becomes simpler. So sometimes if you're getting lost, maybe like back off once at like one line or something and make it a little bit simpler. Sometimes that will help. But eventually you do want to get to the point in reading that. So if you mess it up and you misread and stuff, that's okay. Honestly, at this point, at this level, it's not actually about reading it correctly. It's about learning to read. It's about gaining that experience reading. That's all it is. It's just practice at this point. You want to make mistakes. You want to mess up. You want to learn new shapes,
10,
new patterns.
9.
All right, so
8,
we are in Yosei now because
7,
we're pushing borders.
6,
so
5.
Second line, Sente. We are pushing borders now, so that is what we're doing. Second line, Sente. First line, Sente. Just going to follow our Classy approach rules. There's other ways to calculate this, but we're not going to get into the math of that at this level. Okay, connect. He has a cut. Push the borders. May I ask why I didn't Hana here? It's because there's a cutting point. This move is Sente, but like the follow-up is Gote because I'll have a cutting point. Alright, so now we do have a push the border here, but this one's technically bigger, so well, you know, let's make a mistake. We're not gonna play perfect at this level. Let's make a mistake. Just keep pushing. Keep pushing. Just keep pushing the borders. Keep pushing the borders. You know what actually might be good? Let's go here. This is wrong, but let's do it. Because what happens when we make a mistake? Do we freak out? No, let's make our mistake. Like, okay, I do this. I think it's okay. And I'm going to push the borders. And then maybe I don't see this. Like, oh no, I'm going to get caught off guard. Maybe he'll see it. I don't know if he'll see it or not. But if you get caught off guard, like, you make a mistake, and they get you, like, a lot of times, you're like, oh no, freak out, panic. Like, oh, he caught us. If I block, he has a cutting point. Oh no, what do I do? Should I do it anyway? Should I just run away? Should I go on the first line? Stop. Give up a Byo-Yomi period. Okay, just let it go. That's what you have 5 periods for. Give up a period.
10.
Calm down.
9.
Let's read.
8.
If I block,
7.
he cuts.
6.
I die.
5.
If I
4,
run,
3.
he pushes.
2,
I have 2 liberties. I run.
4 periods
and he walks
left.
in my territory. Okay? Is this territory more than three stones? Absolutely. Okay, so I can save it if I go here, boom, here, boom, here, boom, here. Born a Rose alive. That's what's one of our beginner life and death stuff. If you don't know that yet,
10,
that's okay. We'll learn that.
9. 8.
But
7.
no big
6.
deal.
5.
We could save it, but whatever. We made a mistake. Just give it up. Don't make it worse, and keep your points. Okay? The worst thing you can do is panic. Just give up a period. That's what they're there for. Don't lose periods accidentally. That's really bad to lose them accidentally. Save them for situations like this. Oops, I made a mistake. Take a period. Calm down. Address the problem. And just pick the best of the bad options. Don't panic. Don't freak out. It's okay. It's not the end of the world. But making it worse is how you lose the game from one mistake. Okay, I do have a cutting point, so I'm going to fix directly. You can fix with the Tiger's Mouth. That also fixes it. But you should only do that when you need eye space, because technically that's a co-thread. So I'm just going to fix directly. Fixing directly is better unless you need eyes. Which I don't know if we talked about eyes yet or not, but I do have a beginner life and death series. So if you're confused about that, I don't know if I've addressed that or not. But if you're confused about that, beginner life and death series. A whole playlist on basic Go problems, or beginner Go problems. Whole playlist for Go problems for beginners, understand eyes, captures, etc. Then I also have the beginner lecture series. 2-minute videos, too little time. Guiding point, guiding point. Let's read. Black Ataris. I connect. Black Ataris. I have 1 liberty. I can't go anywhere. Okay. Black Ataris. I connect. Capture. Absolutely bad because I just lose it. So let's just fix. Boom. And we're just waiting on black to move. Okay, I'm going to block my points. Because his move's going to push in, so I'm just going to block. Okay, block. Okay, so this is actually a chance for me to come up here and fix this. So whenever you like make a mistake and your opponent doesn't punish, you're always like, it's probably like a thorn in your mind, right? Like, I want to go fix, 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 but I keep having to respond, so I look for a chance to go fix. Okay, let's ask.
10,
black,
9,
white,
8,
black,
7,
white,
6,
black, oh, I
5,
die. Black,
4,
white, black,
3,
white, ladder.
2.
But maybe you don't read it correctly. That's fine, just block. Can't read it, you can't read it, just block. But in this case, yes, you could have laddered. Okay, we already expected this. Don't freak out. It's okay. We already expected it. We made a mistake. It's fine. Alright. Okay, if I block, there is a cutting point. So let's read it. Block, black. Okay. I push to the edge. He goes down. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. I try to take a liberty. 1, 2. Atari. Oh, I just die. Can I go the other way? Atari.
10,
goes this way to try to ladder.
9.
And oh,
8,
my 2 stones only have 1 liberty.
7. 6.
Guess what?
5.
Can't do it. Can't
4,
do it. Can't do it.
3.
So we are going to block with a tiger's mouth this time. So because we could block with a connection, but as soon as he turns at C13 right here, I can't block because of the cutting point. But if I play tiger's mouth right here, C13 gives me a tiger's mouth to block. So it's just slightly better. But if you connect and lose a couple points, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. I mean, we just learn these shapes as we go. More experience, that's all it is. Just block. Now I have a tiger's mouth. But I'm checking my cutting points. Always check the cutting points. That's the most important thing at this level. Read those cutting points. Read those cutting points. The most important thing at this level. I'm always checking my cutting points. Always, 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 always. At the higher levels, don't skip it. Just, it should become easier the more you do it, but it doesn't mean you neglect it. It doesn't mean like you just assume that the cut doesn't work because you've seen this shape a million times. You always read it. Always check. Because maybe there's some liberty shortage. Alright, he goes in. Oh no! Fine. Block, push to the edge. Block, push him to the edge. If he lives, who cares? As long as I play a good game, I don't care if I lose. It's not the goal at this point. My goal is to gain experience. I need 100 games, okay? I need 109 by 9, and I need 113 by 13. I need experience. That's what I need at this level. I don't need wins. I need experience. Experience will create wins. Okay, so block, push him to the edge. This is very important. This does not help you. If black's alive, I'll block. But if it's life and death, what is my classy approach for life and death? It's surround, already surrounded.
10.
Oh, sorry, it's
9.
So I'm gonna 8, spin to period. He made a mistake. I'm gonna take
6,
a period and think
5,
about this.
4.
So first, take
3,
a base, already done.
2,
Second,
1.
surround, already done.
3
Third,
periods left.
reduce eye space. Guess what this move does not do? This move does not expand your eye space. This is a false eye. Because at any time I can Atari this. There's no eye right here. So it does not expand eye space. In other words, I can ignore this unless black's alive.
10.
So what do?
9.
I'm going to reduce eye space. This is a huge chance for you. Now, if you can't read it, just block. It's fine. Block your territory. If he lives and you lose all that territory, you might lose the game. Okay? Yeah, it's not about winning, but this is about understanding if you should block or not. Block if you're unsure. But if you know that this is small and he's going to die, that's a huge chance for you. This is a huge attacking chance, is when they do this. Okay? So now, what do you notice about the eye space? Box 4. Box 4. How many eyes is box 4?
10. 9. 8. 7. 6.
I'm just gonna
5. 4.
I don't know. I'm just gonna block. I don't care. I'll ensure that it's dead. I'm not gonna lose points. At this point, I know it's dead, so I would ignore normally, but it's fine. If you keep playing, you're not gonna lose points. But eventually, once you get to the point where you're like, I know this is dead no matter what, then just go somewhere else. Okay. If you don't want complications, it's fine. Blah blah blah. Don't care. You can play as long if you play as long as he plays. As long as you don't stay longer than black, and black stays dead, you don't lose points. You aren't going to gain any, but you're not going to lose the 2 points by playing in this area. So if black plays and you play, no big deal. You don't lose anything. But if black leaves and you keep playing, then you lose whatever a move is worth. Okay, bent 3. What's our Vita point for bent 3? Everybody now. Bent 3 Vita point is the center. Boop. Okay. If you let this live, I don't want you to stress about it. What I want you to do is learn, like, if shapes like this live, it's okay. If you lose the game because of it, it's okay. It's actually good, because that's a new shape for you to learn. What I want you to do, if this happens, is review it. Maybe get a review. Oh, it's not done yet. Maybe get a review. And what I don't want you to do is just say, oh, I lose, and play another game and move on. Like, it's fine to play games, but you need to learn something from every game. You need to learn why you lost. Otherwise, you'll just keep losing. So if you let this live, and it's okay.
10.
Don't be mad at yourself.
Undo requested.
Oh, crap.
Undo requested.
It's okay.
Undo granted.
It's okay if you let your opponent live. The mistake is if you don't learn from it.
Undo requested. Undo granted.
The only mistake here is if you don't learn from your mistakes. Making mistakes is the name of the game at this level. That's what you want. You want experience. Okay, good. All right, and now he's blocked. Check any cutting points. Maybe he'll give me an opening. Don't know. I don't see anything. Okay, so now is the neutral points. Okay, make sure you don't activate any cutting points when you play a neutral point. So it looks like I'm good.
10.
Play Dame. Neutral point. And now we're done.
Pass.
All right, we're going to pass.
Remove the dead stones.
All right, and looks like we win by a little bit.
You have won.
All right, and say thank you for the game. Yep, we win by 8.5 points. So if this lived and we lost, no big deal. Who cares? Learn from it. Okay, but we were able to kill it. All right, so let's review this game. How did we win? Because we want to learn from every game we play. We want to learn at least one thing from every game we play. Okay, so I approached. He responded. If he does that, just make a base. Make a base, it's fine. You could jump. Like, some people might recommend the jump. Just build the area. It's because D4 is so close. But it's fine. If you just make a base, we don't have to play perfect at this level. It's fine. Oh, yes. Thank you for being my practice opponent. Thank you for being the guinea pig for the video. Yeah, good job. Good game. All right, so I played here. If you played here, this is also fine. I only played 4th line because I have support. And technically, our basics tell us to play high and build if we have support. You could play here, but I want you to get in the habit of playing a one-space jump from the start point. Because your D4 stone will not always be that close. So on this board, it might be fine. But when your D4 stone is further away, then it just creates too many problems. So one-space jump is the better habit at the moment. Because this is more applicable on the 1919. All right, so black played elsewhere, and now remember we don't have any stones on the open side, so we just played the big framework. So I drew a line. I said, okay, it's actually framework versus framework. Seems pretty equal. So if it's equal, I'm going to build mine. What I could do is I could jump. That's fine, just build. What I actually did was reduce while building. So I played this, and this is the dog's face. 1 point jump into a knight's move. The reason it's a dog's face and not a knight's move is because with this extra stone, when you try to cut, there's a tiger's mouth because of this extra stone. So it's actually connected. And if you try to cut through and cut, capture you, thanks to the stone. So this is why a dog's face is connected even if a knight's move's not. Okay, but it's fine. All I'm doing is just pushing black's line down while making mine bigger. That's all I'm doing. Nothing crazy. I'm just gonna keep pushing. Keep pushing. And then here, I'm just going back and forth. Fine. I could go here and make it even faster. But again, cutting points are difficult. If you aren't able to read the cut very well, don't make it hard on yourself. Just play the easy ones. Make the game easy for yourself. The game should be easy-ish. Easy-ish. The hard stuff comes later. The hard stuff comes as you get stronger. But make the game easier on yourself now while you're learning. And just learn the simple shapes first, and then you can learn the hard stuff later. So here, I was explaining that I was reading this one. But a single stone touches a single stone. We have 3 liberties, so that means there's a lot of forcing moves. So there's a lot to read. So what I was reading is if black plays here and I play here, black actually has nowhere to go. And then if black Ataris and pushes, I can Atari. I can actually double Atari. And then I was like, okay, but what if black plays here first? That's okay. But then I said, but what if black sacrifices this stone and breaks in? Oh no, you lose your whole center position. Okay. This is actually a game worth losing to learn this like pattern right here. I'd lose a game for that. Heck, 15 minutes and I learned a whole cool shape to break in my opponent's Melio. I'd lose a game for that shape. It's fine. But let's say you're like, it was too difficult to read, you're getting a headache. Right? It's fine. Just play simpler moves. That's what we did in the game, is just a simpler move. Like you wanna try to read just to gain practice, and as you get stronger, it'll become easier. As you do more Go problems, it'll become easier. But if you just want to play a simple move, that's also fine. The reason I didn't want to cap here is because that's an elephant's eye, and we do know the response. Well, actually, I don't know if we talked about that yet. But the response to your opponent walking through the elephant, and let's explain what elephant eye is. Elephant's eye is a diagonal 1-point jump. If your opponent walks through the elephant, the response is a knight's move. Okay, like here or here. Okay, and you see how black is just walking in this area. And I didn't like that black was walking in the area, so I just found a different shape. Sometimes if the first shape you look at doesn't work, see if there's other shapes. There's usually more than one option to consider. Just take your time, think it through. This is why we give ourselves more clock time. Like, I'm doing only 5 minutes, just for the sake of the video. But while you're learning, I recommend like 15 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes at least. If you give yourself 20, 25 minutes, is fine. I would say more than 25 minutes is unnecessary. It's better just to play more games. So more than 25 minutes is just unnecessary. Just gain more experience at that point. But anywhere from like 10 to 25 minutes, I think is good. 15 minutes is a good sweet spot, I think, for learning without taking too much time. So here we just did that. The cut, we just simply connect and Atari connect, and you can see that we're pretty strong. Yeah, black can go down, and that's hard to read. So I understand if it's difficult to read. So maybe you back off one more and then play that. And that one's a lot easier to read. You just push black to the edge. Just push black to the edge. Okay. That one's a lot easier to read. So if you backed off one more and did that, that's okay. But I think I already spent enough time reading there. All right, so now I was like, okay, now there's no more center to build or reduce. Now we're just pushing the lines, pushing the borders. So that means we're in Yosei. So understanding when you're in Yosei is actually the first key to playing a good Yosei. Understanding when Yosei starts can give you like a 10-point advantage over your opponent. So second line, Sentei. Second line, Sentei. First line, Sentei. And then I talked about, and then after that you push the border in Sentei. Now I talked about how this one was bad. And that's why I was pushing the border. But let's say you played that one. I actually showed that in the game. Like, oh, let's say you played that one. You didn't know. Guess what? Lose a game. Go mess it up. Learn a shape, right? And just try to remember this for next time. Okay. So here, I actually made the mistake on purpose. And black could actually push and cut immediately. If like this, boom, boom, boom. Oh, white's trapped. White's trapped. It's okay. No big deal. No big deal. But black fixed, defense first, that's fine. You don't have to punish. It just more things to learn, right? Just gain experience. And so I went to play my next thing, push the border, right? Because I pretended I didn't see this. And then black pushed, and black actually didn't cut immediately. But what did I do? I said, stop, sacrifice a period, calm down, read it out, and play the best of the bad moves. There's no way you can fix it, because if you fix, you can make life, but you lose all of your points. It's not worth it for 3 stones. Not worth this entire position. Okay, just block. Just give it up. Like, you made a mistake, it happens. Whatever. Okay, and I just fixed. Block. Block. And this actually, I could have come back and fixed right now, because this was a ladder. So if I read that, I could have taken Sente here. So fighting for Sente is another concept you can learn, but it's okay. It's not super important to learn yet, but it will become important later. But what I didn't do is say, oh, I'm just going to go play this and not read this. Just assume that it works. Because as soon as you assume it works, that's how you die. You always read it. Always read it. If you don't have an answer, you can't ignore it. If you didn't read it, you can't ignore it. Okay, it's better to respond. Okay. Black could go one more, because that is a snapback. If you don't know what that is yet, don't worry about it. Just black could have gained a point. Now here, I did say, read your cutting points. This is the most important thing to do at this level. Don't play fast. Don't play without checking these things. So right here, I know the cut doesn't work because I capture. But as soon as he takes, I read the cut. Push to the edge is my first instinct. I die. I go here. I die, because count the liberties. 2 liberties, the 2 liberties, black plays first. Okay, if I can't push the edge, maybe push away from me and then push the edge. But as soon as I do that, Atari, cut, I die. Oops. Oops. So that's why I fixed here. So if you fix here, that's also fine. But the reason I fixed here is because if you turn right here and I block, there's a cut. So I have to go here and then here. But if I go here instead, now I can block with the tiger's mouth, there's no cut. So this is what this is one thing I want to mention, like down here versus right here. Connection is better unless you have an extra meaning. Okay? Connection is better unless you have an extra meaning. Because if there's a ko somewhere, that's a ko threat. That puts you into Atari. That's a ko threat. And they consider ko's like a quarter of a point. So this is a little bit less than a quarter of a point difference, but it's greater than 0. That's why it's good to learn. Like that quarter, that might cost you a point later. You never know. It's almost a point to do that. But if you save a point, or if you need eye space or eye shape, it's worth doing. Otherwise, just connect. Alright, so black played inside, and actually if this had lived, so this was a game deciding invasion, right? If black lives in here, we lose. And what did I say? It's okay to lose. It's better, as long as you learn, it's okay to lose. But what did we do? We pushed to the edge, and black needs to expand his eye space, and we're just going to push to the edge and trap, and then it's a life and death problem. And this is why we do go problems, right? Once we push it to the edge, we have a small shape in here, from there, it's just go problems. Okay? But this is the shape, I think, this is a good shape to learn from this game. This does not help you. Okay? If I do nothing, how do you turn this into an eye? Do you go here? Nope, still a false eye. You're gonna have to Atari and then have to connect. Oh, but what if I escape? Okay, I block your eye space on the second line. It's still a false eye. It's still a false eye. You can't get an eye with this move. You can't get an eye with this move. Okay? So just push to the edge, push to the edge. And then what do? We saw that it was a box 4, and we just stayed strong. And even if black lived, let's say we accidentally let black live. Yeah, we lose the game. But then in the review, we learned a new shape. Maybe you didn't know the bent 3, and now you're like, oh, bent 3. Okay. Center point. You learn a new shape. It's okay. We're learning at this level. We're not trying to win. If we win, great. But what's more important is that we learn shapes and gain experience. That's what's important at this level. Okay. One last tip. A little secret move. Secret of the strong players. Okay. At the very end of the game, when this area is completely sealed, if you don't remember this point, it's okay. This is a little bit high level, but if you remember it, it can be very helpful to you. At the end of the game, when this is super sealed, you're super strong, no holes, no problems, almost over, right? When you're positioned super strong like this, you can actually kill the 3/3. Even if I don't have this stone, even if the stone's not here. If you're positioned super strong and already surrounded, there's no escape routes for black. There's no weak groups. We can kill this 3/3 by playing here. Oh no, but there's cutting points! It's okay. Nobi. Nobi. Until you can connect. He goes after this stone. It's okay. Reduce the eye space. He goes after this stone. There's no ladder. Okay? Even if you save the stone. Where's the eye space? 6 in the corner is dead. That's not even 6 in the corner. That's a bulky 5. What if he blocks? What if he blocks? Boom. Do it on this side. Boom. Blocks 4. This move is how you kill the 3/3, as long as there's no escape routes and no problems on the outside. If you don't remember it, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. Not the end of the world. But if it's the end of the game and they try to invade, oops. Oops. And for those on YouTube, chat is actually going crazy. Like, I didn't learn that until single digit Q. And now I'm teaching 20 Qs how to kill the 3/3. It's okay. If you don't remember it, it's okay. A lot of people don't know this move. But it's a secret of the strong players. You can kill the 3/3 as long as you're super thick. And with that, I'll conclude this video of the Classy Approach. So as always, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys did enjoy this. And I will see you guys in the next Classy Approach video.